Tonight on Tower Talks, we examine the controversial consolidation set to take place in the College of Liberal Arts. Tower Talks goes into the student perspective about how they feel about the changes coming to the College of Liberal Arts. And then we visit the Department of Computer Science to learn more about the new School of Computing. Good evening. My name is Zion Tesfaye. Tonight's episode will focus on various organizational changes happening on campus. The most controversial of these changes is happening in the College of Liberal Arts. I recently went around campus to learn more. On Thursday, February 12, the University of Texas at Austin decided to consolidate 7 departments in its university: African and African Diaspora Studies, Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, Mexican, American, and Latino Studies, and American Studies into a Social and Cultural Analysis department. UT will separately consolidate Germanic Studies, Slavic and Eurasian Studies, and the French and Italian into a new Department of European and Eurasian Studies. UT President Jim Davis contacted department heads 2 days before the announcement for a 30-minute Zoom call early Thursday morning to announce this big change, according to UT professor Karma Ruth Chavez in the Mexican American and Latino Studies, as well as the Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies department.
When you see administrators making decisions about how departments should be configured and how curriculum should be taught, when those administrators have exactly no expertise in the area, that's a threat to everyone's academic freedom, because it means no longer are faculty, those who should be responsible for curriculum, the ones driving those decisions. And so it will have a potential impact on the kinds of work that can be done.
Chavez says they knew this move was coming, but there had been no meaningful faculty input on this matter, especially after the elimination of the Faculty Council. This was ordered by President Davis, his justification being Senate Bill 37, and says he won't take responsibility on this consolidation effort since he claims it's an authorless proposal. As protests happen on campus and students speak out on social media, it's obvious to see the consolidation has not been welcomed with open arms. The restructuring is expected to be completed by September 2027, but there is no official timeline for the consolidation. Zion Tesfaye, TSTV News. When we come back, we take a closer look at the academic restructurings happening around campus. Tower Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Tower Talks. We're going to take a closer look at the departmental consolidations in the College of Liberal Arts. To learn more, I went down to the Gordon White building to hear from professors or students in the department. There, I was able to briefly talk to Assistant Professor Amira Rose Davis in the African and African Diaspora Studies department. Here's what she had to say.
Sometimes people don't always understand the research that is being done in our department, and we just feel like it's a great opportunity to gather together, to feed some people, and to talk about what classes we offer and what some of the work is, because we have so many people working on a vast array of subjects across multiple continents through different time periods and through different training methods. So it's a real treat to bring everybody together and showcase that. And the faculty members that are in this department have all been recruited here, have come back, many of us because we're Texans and we believed in this institution, but also because the chance to work with these colleagues in this department is amazing. Everybody here is one of the best in their field, and we're talking about people who are historians, anthropologists, political scientists, educators, theater professionals. And that's the beauty of a department like ours. We're a diasporic department.
Professors were not the only ones afraid to comment. While many students passed on answering questions about consolidation efforts, UT student Samaria Taylor had many thoughts on the topics.
It was really heartbreaking to see, because I'm like, this is like the reality of it. Sure, we heard the news, we knew it was coming, but like, it's happening. That was really heartbreaking to deal with, to wrestle with, Because last semester I was organizing a lot. I was organizing around a potential consolidation. But like the fact that it's happening now and our hands are tied, there's literally nothing we can do. Everything's already been decided. We're gonna be unrecognizable. These departments are known nationwide and even globally. Like I know people travel like out of the country to go speak at conferences about the research that they've done here. We're recognized for the University of Texas at Austin's whatever specific department this is for our research, for our centers, for our departments, whatever. And like now it just won't be recognized as such.
Taylor says many students not only were expecting a consolidation like this, but according to those students, would not be surprised if the university decided to cut the department within the near future. We would like to note that there are not currently any plans to cut the department. The departments of French and Italian, Germanic Studies, and Slavic and Eurasian Studies will form the Department of European and Eurasian Studies. Tower Talks had the opportunity to interview Hans Bose, a Germanic Studies professor here at UT, about his experience with the consolidation. Bose has been a professor at UT for about 25 years, and he says he has never seen a consolidation of this magnitude. His greatest concern is the transparency of this consolidation.
We have not been told any plan, no organizational, no time frame. Are we all going to be in the same building? Are we going to be in different parts of campus? Is there going to be one chair that heads up the whole unit? And who is that person going to be? We don't even know, or in my case, I don't know a lot of the other colleagues that I will be in the same department with starting this fall. So I'm sitting there and I'm just having lots of questions and no answers. The real problem in that really is the amount of work is not going to go away. It's going to stay the same amount of work. So if you let a staff member go, you have another staff member having to take over their responsibility, and then they will get overworked and burned out and they will leave, and then finding a new person is going to be more and more difficult. The same thing at the faculty level. You will have one chair not overseeing 20 or 25 faculty members and staff, but then all of a sudden 50 or 60, and that's going to increase a lot of work. We're afraid that this consolidation might impact our ability to not just recruit the best students, but also down the road the best faculty. And all of that, is going to have some type of domino effect down the road, that it's also going to not just affect the students, but it's also going to affect the state of Texas, because you'll have less opportunities to, train teachers, to train the future leaders of the state. And so my fear really is not just about the unit that I'm in, the Department of Germanic Studies or the College of Liberal Arts, but it's about UT more generally.
The College of Liberal Arts is not the only college seeing changes. In the fall, the College of Natural Science will open its new School of Computing. Tower Talks executive producer Kai Fong went to learn about this new school.
The fall 2026 semester will see a new School of Computing arrive on campus. This school will bring the Computer Science Department, the Statistics and Data Science Department, and a School of Information under one roof within the College of Natural Sciences.
It is a relatively common one to put computer science, information, and statistics and data science together because of the sort of close synergy.
This new arrangement will not affect current degree programs, but it will allow for greater cooperation between the technical side of computing and the applications of this technology.
By putting these together, it can really expand opportunities for collaboration across the disciplines, for students to really understand the aspects of these disciplines.
The School of Computing will serve as a center of excellence for computing on campus. However, in this digital age, computing is not exclusive to one part of the campus community.
And so this School of Computing is bringing together three departments, but really with very close ties to units across campus and aiming to serve sort of as a nexus that will benefit the entire university.
The official announcement for the creation of the School of Computing came around the same time as the announcement of a controversial restructuring of the College of Liberal Arts. However, the reorganizations are not related.
I can't speak for the provost and the president for their decision making on on the various changes that they've been making at the university. My impression is that these are independent decisions.
The approval for the School of Computing was dependent on the UT Board of Regents. while the university claims that the liberal arts consolidation is not subject to Regent's approval, according to an interview given by university spokesman Mike Rosen to the Daily Texan.
That in the fall, everybody who's a student, faculty, or staff member here got a notice about the plan for the school. And so that message was shared, I believe, in November. And the leadership here were able to give people information about what would be submitted to the Board of Regents, but the university was awaiting the approval from the Board of Regents to be able to announce it more broadly to the press.
For TSTV News, I'm Kai Fong.
When we come back, Tower Talk speaks to a graduate student studying German to see how he feels about the changes coming to the College of Liberal Arts. We'll be right back.
It took me kind of by shock because I mean, I know all the professors in the department, I know the grad students, and there were just kind of no warning when it was announced. So everyone was kind of taken aback because this decision was made without input from faculty, without input from any grad students. Very disappointing for a school like UT, which is such a big research university that has, I mean, the Department of German at UT has been around since the founding of the university. Just pretty sad to see for a school that's trying to put itself at the forefront of research and teaching and education. It's not doing that. I think it puts us behind other institutions at the undergraduate and graduate level, just because we're not our own department. I feel like there's less opportunities. I think the German department at UT is excellent. I mean, you've taken courses there too, and the faculty, I mean, is top, like top quality. So you know, hearing that they're like considering leaving and going to other schools where it's maybe a bit safer, there's more job security, or you know, hearing about their fears about not being able to teach about what they want to teach about, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, like, yes, we're teaching language, but part of teaching language is teaching the culture that comes with it, right? And if you're not allowed to discuss that culture in class for fear of losing your job, then how good of an educator are you really?
Welcome back to Tower Talks. Audrey Itz joins us now to talk about her interview with Alec. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just let me know, like, how did that go?
Yeah, it was really interesting because this had first started off as a man on the street interview. So I sat outside Patton Hall and I was asking people as they walked by, especially students in the College of Liberal Arts. But I found that similar to what you were saying earlier, not a lot of students wanted to talk about it, and even surprisingly, a lot of students didn't even know about what was going on with the COLA consolidations. Even students who are College of Liberal Arts. So I thought that was really interesting. And I also, what was your experience when you were trying to gather interviews?
Same thing. I had gone to the Gordon White Building, which has African and African American diaspora studies, had the Mexican American and Latino studies. I believe they also have a couple other departments there as well. But I went there multiple times in these past couple of weeks. I sent emails,
I called people. It was like,
there was a lot of like, I guess, hoops that I had to like, jump through, and things that I had to like go through just to, I guess, get a couple interviews. And I'm honestly really surprised that not a lot of students were aware of these consolidations happening. And I know that a lot of them that did know about it were pretty like, I guess not just, I guess they're pretty scared, to talk to a reporter, to talk to someone that their face and their name would be aligned with. So it was pretty interesting to see how people reacted to the news. But I was really shocked that, like you said, not a lot of people were aware of it. That's really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And I especially thought that a lot of people were going to be aware of it because I'm a German minor, so I am in a German class right now. And whenever we heard the news about it, like the day of, everyone in my class was talking about it, and everyone was pretty worked up about it. So I was going into this expecting that it was going to be really easy, and a lot of people were going to be really passionate about it. But I think it's because it's a smaller, it's a really like niche, like couple of majors that have been combined. So it was difficult to find the people who were actually impacted, but the people who were impacted, they were definitely very scared, both about the future of what was to happen to their programs, but also to talk about the subject. So that was why I was very grateful to speak with Alec, who was very passionate about the topic and also really wanted to share his opinions on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Audrey, for giving us the student perspective. When we come back, Tower Talks examines the relationship between state politics and UT. Tower Talks will be right back.
Welcome back to Tower Talks. What happens at UT does not occur in a vacuum. Tower Talks executive producer Kai Fong joins us now to examine how state politics influence the university's decision to restructure. How are you doing tonight, Kai?
I'm doing great, Zion. I'm just happy to be back in front of the camera again after a while.
Absolutely. Now, the relationship between the university and state legislators has been under increased scrutiny lately, particularly in light of the latest legislative session and its focus on UT Austin, the state's flagship school. Talk to us about what that's looked like on the House and Senate floors.
Well, Zion, immediately what comes to mind is Senate Bill 37. That bill shifted control over public colleges in the state more heavily toward governing boards. For UT, that's the Board of Regents. Under SB 37, the Board of Regents is mandated to conduct curriculum reviews regularly, and faculty senates or councils saw a lot of shakeups. To understand the impact of those new policies, you have to look at how the Board of Regents is appointed. All 9 positions are chosen by the governor and approved by 2/3 of the Senate, giving a lot of leeway for politics to play a role. That same bill also established the Office of the Ombudsman, which will be a state-appointed cohort that reviews complaints against an institution accused of violating state laws, like the recent state ban on DEI practices. Those positions are also appointed by high-level politicians across the Texas political diaspora. Overall, it's one bill, but its impacts are really far-reaching for UT in particular.
And what about protests on campus? We've heard a lot about changes related to those policies.
Yeah, SB 2972, more commonly known as the Campus Protection Act, has received a lot of attention lately. It mainly restricts protests on college campuses, adding requirements and stipulations while empowering university officials with more discretion when approving time, place, and manner limits. The law was briefly blocked in part by a federal judge in October. It was authored by Republican Senator Brandon Creighton of Conroe, who chaired the Education Committee. Creighton was recently appointed Chancellor of the Texas Tech University system by Governor Abbott to, quote, align the university with a more conservative approach to higher education, end quote. These changes coincide with the recently taken tenure of President Jim Davis, a former attorney in the Texas Attorney General's office under Ken Paxton, a staunch conservative. Davis is the first president to assume the role in more than a century without teaching experience, drawing scrutiny from critics of Abbott. Davis was appointed by and approved under the Board of Regents appointed by Abbott. He previously served as the university's vice president for legal affairs.
Wow, the relationship between state politics and our lives here at UT really does run deep. Kai, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now when we come back, we look at other news that you should know. Tower Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Tower Talks. Former U.S. Representative Beto O'Rourke was on UT campus last week on Tuesday. He founded Powered by People, which is an organization that goes campus to campus hoping to get college students politically active and registered to vote. He founded the organization Powered by People, who he was with when he was on Speedway. I got the chance to talk to him about what he thinks about alleged political burnout within college students.
Powered by People, which is a Texas-led organization focused on voting rights, voter registration, and making sure that people are actually getting to the polls when elections comes around. How are you?
Doing great. I love being back on the UT campus and getting a chance to talk with you.
Absolutely. How do you address maybe some political burnout that people have been seeing among young voters who just don't feel like their efforts lead to actual change?
I got to tell you, what we're seeing in Texas right now shows that young voters are leading the way. More Democrats voted than Republicans in the recent primaries by more than 100,000 votes. You've got young candidates like James Tallarico, like Jeannie Hinojosa, many others who are leading the charge with Democrats on the ballot. And then I'm spending all my time with Powered by People on college campuses like this one, and we're seeing record numbers of people sign up, register, volunteer, like our friend Gabby, and then stay in touch with us, making a commitment to vote. So it makes me very optimistic about what we're going to see in November.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
My
you.
name is Zion Tesfaye. I'm here with TSTV News here on UT campus.
On March 26th, the Army announced a conditional agreement with the global investment firm Carlyle to lease land for the construction of a data center in El Paso, a U.S. Army garrison, Fort Bliss. The announcement comes amidst local pushback against a separate data center being built in El Paso by Meta over environmental concerns, according to an Army press release. Secretary of the Army, Daniel Driscoll, claimed that the new data center would give the Army computing capability to leverage AI for national security purposes. Although it is important to note that currently it appears that the Carlyle firm will pay all the costs associated with the construction, so it's not immediately clear if the data center will exclusively serve the Department of Defense or if it is an exclusively commercial enterprise. Opponents of the plan are worried about the environmental impacts of the proposed data center, as well as limited community influence in the decision. The deal has not been finalized. Negotiations are still ongoing for the AI center. As with the war with Iran continues, the most noticeable impact it has had on the American consumer has been the higher price of gas, according to CNBC. Oil prices have exceeded $100 per barrel, up nearly 40% just this month. To bring down the gas prices, the Trump administration announced they will lift some sanctions on Russian and Iranian oil in an effort to increase global supply. Experts say the move could help stabilize prices in the short term, but warn the ongoing conflict in the Middle East continues to create instability in the global energy market. Now, thank you for joining us tonight. To watch this and all future Tower Talks episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at Tower Talks TSTV to stay updated on Tower Talks. For Tower Talks, I am Zion Tesfaye. Good night.